I'll send it to you just a second.
Welcome to my Brother's Keeper podcast. This is your host, Courtney Foster and Brian Payne.
Hey. This is Courtney Foster.
And I'm your co-host, Brian Payne. And we are
my Brother's Keeper. All right. How you feeling over there, Brian?
Hey, man, I can't complain, man. We got an exciting evening for you all. Man, yes. I'm excited about this thing right here.
Yes. I am equally excited as well. We're gonna get right into it today. We're not gonna waste a lot of time. We want to get to it because this person was gracious enough to take a little bit of time out of his day. He stuck us in there. He had a lot going on, but he stuck us in there as promised, and he's a man of his word, and I appreciate him for that. So we're gonna get right to it. Y'all already know my Brother's Keeper. We're building legacy through brotherhood, and that is a part of what we're gonna do today. How you feel? How you really feeling over there, Brian? How you really feeling over there?
Man, look, this right here is one of the interviews, man, that I was really looking forward to, man. And for the people, man, y'all in for it today. I'm telling you, this right here is gonna be good.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You know, today's conversation, this one we've been looking forward to for a while because every now and then, right, you get the opportunity to sit down with those who don't just talk about leadership, but who embodies it. Right, I'm talking about real service, real sacrifice, real impact across every space that they've stepped in. And this right here is one of those conversations, right? So before we dive in, I want to properly introduce our guest because his journey isn't just impressive. It sets the tone for the entire conversation that we're going to talk about. The truth be told, Brian, his full body of work, his full story would take an entire episode, right? So we're just going to give you a snapshot of it today, just a glimpse of his impact. And let me just go ahead and read his bio. Let me go ahead and get to the bio real quick. And after we read the bio, we're going to welcome him to our virtual stage today. As you already know, this is our favorite slide. We walk it out on stage. This is our virtual platform, so we want you all to be excited for our guest. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Mr. Chris Rey was born in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, and raised in Silver Lake, North Carolina. He holds a business degree from Weldon University and a law degree from William and Mary Law School, along with executive leadership training from the University of Virginia Sorensen Institute for Political Leadership and the UNC Chapel Hill School of Government. After 22 years of honorable military service in both active duty and Army in the Army National Guard, where he helped establish the first Cyber Brigade headquarters, Rey went on to serve as the international president of Psi Beta Sigma Fraternity, Inc., leading on a global scale with a focus on service, scholarship, and social impact. He has also championed affordable housing initiatives in Washington, D.C., and served on multiple boards, including Fayetteville State University and William and Mary Alumni Association. He is currently serving as the 20th president of Barber-Scotia College, where he is leading a bold resurgence and vision for the institution's future. Above all, he is a husband and a father of four. And today, we're going to talk about leadership, legacy, and what it takes to build something that outlives you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome to our my brother's keeper's virtual platform, Mr. Christopher Rey.
Well, wow. All right.
Hey.
I got to say one thing. I said, you said Psi Beta Sigma. Now, if I got my brothers who are watching, they're gonna be like, wait a minute.
I'm not
gonna
get it right for me. Get it right for me. Get it right.
It's Phi Beta Sigma. Phi Beta Sigma.
Hey, we gotta start it out right. We gotta start it out right. It's important.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you right here. I feel like we did it an injustice. You have such a loaded background and such a loaded legacy that it didn't even fit on my slide. And I felt like I was like, should I put 2 slides or 3? What should we do? And your legacy is just beginning, brother. And we know it. And I just wanted to say that we know it's more. And hopefully we can get to that in this interview. But I just wanted to know, it was just a snapshot. That's why we teed it up with the snapshot. It's just a snapshot. We didn't even get into all the nuts and cranny and the meat of it. We just in the appetizer of your living legacy. So we wanted to just say that and give you a round of applause there for this being who you are.
Yes, sir.
How's things for you?
Hey man, never a dull moment. That's all I'm gonna say. Never.
I love it.
But it is the life I chose. It's the life I prayed. It's the life I prayed for.
Yes.
And so it's the life that God has given me because I've been faithful. So I don't really complain about, all the stuff that I'm doing. I literally prayed for this, right?
That's right.
I prayed to be a leader. I prayed, to be a person of influence, to make a difference in the lives of people. I prayed for this. So
that's it.
I don't get all caught up with, oh my gosh, God, this is, too much. No. Yeah. I prayed for it. And when you pray for certain things and you trust God, man, I'm telling you, God be like, watch me work.
There you go. There you go. I feel like we're gonna be clapping a lot today. I'm gonna try to keep my finger off the button because if that every sentence I'll probably be clapping. So I'm just gonna try to be honest there. But let's go ahead and get into it. We read the bio. You talked a little bit about yourself, but if someone was to meet you on the street, in a grocery store, at an event, who would you say Chris Rey is, and how has your journey prepared you for what you're doing today?
Man, who Chris Rey is? Chris Rey is an individual who truly came from humble beginnings. If it wasn't for my grandmother, I don't know where I would be. I'm someone who used the little bit of talents that I had. I was a track and field guy, right? So, my grandmother used to say, "Hey, we don't got no money, so you better use the talents you got to get you to where you have to go." So, if it wasn't for the scholarship that I got to go to college and then to join the military and then all the various steps, I would say, man, Chris Rey is just a guy who has used all the opportunities that has been given to him throughout the various stages of my life. And I maximize on them, right? I maximize on every opportunity that I have attempted to, that was afforded to me. And so then when you talk about how did that prepare me for the journey of my life, I mean, it was first recognizing, life is about building blocks, man. And my initial building block was, all right, God, I need to have faith in you in this journey that I'm about to be on, and recognizing that I can't do this without him, right? And then it was, now God put in front of me the right people to build the right relationships that I need in order to open up the right doors for me, right? Because a lot of people be thinking out here that it's it's them, right? I did this. No. It's the opportunities that was given to you, right? It was the opportunities that was given to you, and so I took advantage of those opportunities, and just when you get the opportunity, I made sure that I showed up right. I made sure that people know you by your work product.
That's right.
People will know you by your work product.
That's right.
And I tried to make sure that my work product was always excellent. So there was no question who I was when the opportunity came. It's like, hey, if we give this to Chris, he gonna kill it.
That's it.
We need to give it to Chris. And every time that I got an opportunity, I just killed it. And then they'll come back and they would say, hey, we saw that you did this. Can you do this? Absolutely. And I just became a studier of the craft of the work that I was in. But then it goes back to the Bible, which says, when God gives you opportunities to be over something small.
There you go. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Right? If you're faithful, he will literally increase your territory. I mean, it's in the word, man.
Wow. That's so good.
My life is an example of absolutely taking opportunities that were given to me. Some of it was crappy. It wasn't fancy. It was the low level. I got to grunt this out. I got to grind this out. Nobody's going to see me out here. I'm not going to shine with this opportunity.
Talk about it.
But when it was done and the opportunity created other things to happen, right? Then folks paid attention and said, well, who did that? Who put, even if it was as small as putting together an office party, man, I made sure it was the best office party.
I love it.
Office party, right?
I love it.
The rest is history, man. And so today, here I am, leading the revitalization of an entire institution, an entire college. And that's after stepping down from being the international president of a global fraternity, right?
Yes.
And watching how I saw the power of what men can do when we come together. So that housing project that was manifested, it was because of a group of men who said, let's think differently, let's think bigger. And now we're breaking ground on a multi-million-dollar affordable housing complex. And my messaging to my brothers are this the first one, right? We got to do it. We got to do. We got to replicate this in other places.
Stop here. Can't stop it.
So man.
Awesome. My goodness. Tell the people to take notes, but this might be a good time to take notes, y'all. He was dropping gems, and I love how you referenced the Bible and that you said just being faithful over just a few, right? Just being a faithful over a few, and never despise those small beginnings. And you are a living testament of that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Brian.
Yeah, Chris. Speaking of opportunity, you spoke of opportunities, right? And taking full advantage of those opportunities. So we know that you have a decorated background in the military and just leadership, period. What ultimately made you say yes to becoming the 20th president of Barber-Scotia College? What led you to taking on that great responsibility?
Yeah, I'm curious to know this.
So there's a couple of things I'll say. Number one, everybody has, I don't care who you are, everybody has at some point in their life, you have the imposter syndrome, right? And everybody knows what imposter syndrome is, which is you're in a room, you're looking around, and you're like, how am I in a room with all these people, right? Do I deserve to be here? Have I worked hard enough to be here, right? Once you get past that phase of your life, right, and recognize that the journey has prepared you for whatever work it is that you are in, that's now being presented to you, it brings a different kind of calm over your life, right? The journey with Barber-Scotia College truly wasn't anything that I was looking for, but it's something that once it was presented, I had to take a pause and had to look back at my career and say, oh, I'm prepared for this moment. Right? And so even though it was huge, it's huge, it's daunting. People say to me, man, that's a big job. I don't know how you're doing it. I don't know why you took it on. But then I remember that, I was in the military for 22 years, right? And so I've led men and women to battle. And when you're leading folks to battle, you are preparing, you are training, you are perfecting your craft. And then on top of that, when you're a leader in the military, you're responsible for people and resources. So that means that not only was I making sure my folks was trained, but I was making sure that we had the logistics to move I was part of a team that was a part of a logistics to move an entire task force of thousands of soldiers from one location to the other. And that takes a different kind of mindset. It takes a different kind of planning and process, but I got that experience, right? Here I was, had the opportunity to serve as mayor of my hometown. Not one time, not two times, but three times the people elected me, right? And they elected me because I got stuff done, because I understood the power of navigating the challenges, whether it's through people, government levels, policies, procedures. I got that experience. And then you put on top of that, well, I'm leading a multi-million-dollar global nonprofit organization called Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. That organization taught me how to not only work with people, but it gave me a love of service, right? And so I understood the power of people engagement and then all of the mechanics and mechanisms that it takes to run a major organization. So now you fast forward to July 17, 2023, and the opportunity has been presented to me. Oh, I'm very prepared, right? I don't got the government background. I don't have the nonprofit experience. I don't have the for-profit experience. I got the people experience. And so all I had to do now was ball it on up and say, you can take all those skills and all that whole experience. I had the fundraising experience from running for public office, for raising money for my fraternity, and the work that we were doing, engaging with folks in corporate America. So I take all of that and I bring all those relationships. I bring all of that experience to the role as president of Barber-Scotia College. And so even though we were in the situation that we were in, I knew that I was prepared for it. Now, the real question is, did I have the faith to believe that I could get this institution from where it's been for over the last 20 plus years? Do I have the faith to get it to the next level? And then I had to believe that God was going to make it happen. And let me tell you something, man. July 17th will be 3 years that I've been the president of this institution. And I'm going to tell you
what I did there.
For almost 3 years, in putting the right people in place with me, sending, the right funders when I needed the right funders, sending professors when I needed professors, sending volunteers when I can't do this stuff by myself. And he has sent all these people, to make this train really move. And then working with the board of trustees to tackle the challenges that the institution was facing for the last 20 years. Man, it's so I knew that I had the background to do it, but the real question was, did I have the faith? Believe I had the faith to really overcome this huge mountain that was in front of me. I prayed about it. I walked around that school for many, many days, before I decided to take the opportunity. But once I did, man, I've been holding on. And every day isn't, butterflies and sunshine. I mean, there's some days, man, it's tough, but that's the journey. And but the goal is to get to the ultimate goal, which is to get the college reaccredited, and to be transformational in this HBCU space with this institution. Because I tell you, man, I got plans for Barber-Scotia College, man. All I got to do is get us across the finish line.
That's it.
And it's going to be a different day in the HBCU landscape when I get this opportunity.
Wow.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And as you was talking, it was like a movie playing through my head. And one thing that stood out to me, and this is for the people that are listening, when you're faced with a decision on whether you should move forward, should you take the opportunity, if you're having that imposter syndrome or whatnot, Mr. Chris Rey reference, he said he didn't, he looked at his experience. He looked back and said, look, I was prepared. I was being prepared for this all along. And you reference just pulling from all your experience. And that's what happens in life. We go through a lot of things in a moment and we don't understand what it's for. And then you get this ask and it's like, oh, all of this makes sense now. Like all of this leadership, all of this social capital, all of these resources, people pulling on me, they always picking me to talk or choosing me for these roles. It's like, okay, it was prepare me for this tall Goliath of a task. It makes sense now. So I just want to thank you for encouraging somebody with that message right there, because somebody is looking at a decision, a career, an ask, and just wondering if they can do it. And I thank you for saying yes. Just thank you for saying yes. I know my brother has a question about Barber-Scotia and stepping on as the president, but I wanted to just take it back just 1 second, because I don't want to gloss over the fact that at the age of 34 you became the youngest mayor of Silver Lake, North Carolina. I don't want to just sit here act like that was just a regular feat that people do every day now. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, see, now Silver Lake, that sounds like somewhere scary, right?
So Spring Lake.
I'm gonna be correction. Spring Lake. So listen, man, again, it wasn't on my bingo card of life. I mean, it wasn't like, I grew up and one day I'm going to be the mayor of my hometown. I blame my grandma for it, because I called home one day to check in on my grandmother. I was in Williamsburg, Virginia. I was at William and Mary. I was in law school and I was getting ready to graduate. And I mean, I had a plan. I was like, once I graduate, I'm headed to Texas. I want to live in Houston, and then I was going to live a bi-coastal life. I was going to Houston, and I'm going to have an office in DC. I'm going to be. I had a nice plan. I had a nice plan. I was going to work for a nice big major firm, and then I was going to do some stuff on Capitol Hill, and John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, was my mentor. And so I knew that I had a love for, being on the Hill and doing some things, but I wanted to, practice law, and I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. So that was the plan. So I called home to my grandmother one day just to check in on her. And she said, I asked her how everything was, how was the city, what was going on in town. And she just was like, just started railing about just the issues. And she said, you just come home and you need to run from there and clean some of this stuff. I was like, Spring
I did
Lake,
all of this to come back home. What you mean?
Spring Lake was like the place, man, that if you got out, you got out, right?
That's it.
It wasn't a place you aspired to come back to. All of my very close friends, when we left, we were like, be blessed. And but I went home a couple of weeks later to go visit her, and and she brought it up again. I had this habit of, when I visited my grandmother, she always had the big chair by her bed, watch the television, watch her stories. And so I would come in, give her a hug and give her a kiss, and I would jump up on her bed, and and I would just sit there and and just lay there and just be like, so what's going on? Let's talk, blah blah blah. And she brought up the city again and said, you should really think about this. And my grandmother was the kind of person, man, if she brought up something more than once, then you really need to really think about. You really need
speaking
to
from the spirit at that point.
Speaking from the spirit. I mean, that woman had
to be obedient at
she had a direct line to the good Lord. Man. And so I thought about it. I started thinking about it, and then I started. Once again, I took a walk around. I took walks throughout the various parts of the city and the community, neighborhoods, and I just started seeing what was possible. I mean, I had places that didn't have sidewalks. I saw roads that were just, that was in the press. I talked to a couple of the citizens, and they were just talking about just the challenges and the issues, and I just decided. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I prayed about it. Of course, then I said I'm going to do it, and of course, it was tough because a lot of folks were the incumbent. Everyone who had ever ran against the incumbent lost. So she was a very skilled. She was into the community as well. There were people who laughed at me and said, "Ha, ha, ha, she's gonna vanquish you." I was like, "Vanquish." It's the word vanquish. It's like, who's Voldemort? But we ended up winning with over 70% of the vote.
Wow.
It was an amazing time. And the beautiful thing was that that election in 2011, that election was on November 8th, 2011. That was my grandmother's birthday. I got elected mayor on my grandmother's birthday. And the people elected me 2 more times after that. We had some challenges with the city, and we cleaned up a lot of financial issues that I had inherited. And man, it was a great experience, though. It was a great experience. And for someone who at 34 years old to all of a sudden now you got departments, you got to, you focusing on, you talking about tax rates and sales tax and bringing in tax dollars to fix roads and to upgrade the wastewater system. And I mean, these are the things I'm talking about at 34 years old, man.
Right. I'm thinking about when I was 34, and I was not thinking about the city or no town at 34.
Yeah. So when you think about the high level meetings and engagements, you're meeting with government officials, you're meeting with businessmen and women. You're in spaces, and so you're using parts of your brain that to your point. If you're 34, most 34-year-olds aren't trying to do that, but the environment shaped who I was because I needed to rise to the occasion because of. And so
that's right.
So which then again, when this opportunity at Barber-Scotia came, I was unafraid about it. What I was more concerned about was, God, was I the right person for this opportunity? Sometimes, man, we try to put ourselves into things that ain't supposed to be for us.
We will.
I mean, that's whether that's relationships, whether that's jobs, whether that's other opportunities, man. You just all of a sudden you ain't supposed to be here, man.
It happens.
But you put yourself in there, and so I had to be like, hey, God, let me, is this where I'm supposed to be at? And obviously, I said, and so in all of the things that I do, and I got to say this, in all the things that I do, I always make sure I say, God, because when I talk to God, I talk to him plain. I don't, I just say, hey,
as you should.
I say, God, if this is supposed to be for me, make it happen. If it ain't supposed to be for me, close the door, put the bolt on it. Make sure that I can't get in, and make sure nobody can get out.
There you go.
And I'm serious. That's who I am, because there is no reason. Many of us, man, we've wasted a lot of time in our lives, man, in places and spaces that we didn't need to be in.
That's right.
That's every human that breathes, right?
That's right.
I don't have the luxury to keep on wasting my time, man. I'm in my late 40s now. I ain't trying to waste my time in my 40s. I ain't trying to waste my time in my 50s if the good Lord bless me to get there, my 60s, so forth and so on. And that's so, but you got to be intentional about saying that. So my earnest prayer all the time is, when something is presented to me, hey, God, if this is supposed to be, make it happen. If it ain't, just take it away. I don't need to be caught up in anything, because sometimes our heart desires certain things, but it ain't what we need, right? It ain't what
that's right, man. Oh, that's a whole different. That's a whole title of a episode right there.
Yeah.
If I got all the things that my heart said yes to, man, I would be in a place. I would be in a way for sure. Yeah.
Hey. So Chris. So fast forward to. Okay, they offered you to be the president. You accepted, and you stepped on campus, right? Like, what did you see at Barber-Scotia? What did you see? What did you think? What was your thoughts?
That's a good question
about the school in general. You stepped on campus.
Yeah.
Did you say this is going to be a huge task? Like, we need to get to work immediately. Like, what was your thoughts?
Yeah. So like, remember what I said earlier, I walked the campus for a few days before I really, took on the opportunity and said, okay, God, I'm going to apply. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So, of course, in the very beginning, at face value, when I first saw, I mean, you saw dilapidated buildings, you saw,
Yep.
you saw the deterioration of what used to be an amazing institution.
Yep.
And so on the outside, you're like, ugh, this ain't it. I don't need to take this good talent I got and come here. I don't need to do that, right?
Oh.
But then as I kept on walking, man, I don't know. I just think that, one of the gifts that has been given to me is the ability to see beyond, right? And I could literally see what the campus could be. I mean, I saw buildings that were brand new. I saw things that were fixed. I mean, I saw it like I could touch it. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I saw a shiny, brand new Barber-Scotia College. I did.
Wow.
And so when the keys were given to me on July 17th, and the interim president at the time, who was Dr. Tracy Flemings, we sat, we did our handoff, our exchange, and we did our thing. And then, she got in her vehicle and she drove away. And I stood on the campus by myself. And now I had the keys to all the buildings, and I was just looking around. It was just me. We had no students. We had no faculty. We had no staff. It was just me. And I took a deep breath and I just said, all right, God, let's go. And I turned back around and I went in the building and I began, building block by block after that, brick by brick. But the days before I had applied for the job, yeah, man, it was like, I can't see this. I was like, this is bananas. This, like, Lord, how did I even get here? I was thinking I was going to do something else, like just, raise some money for Barber-Scotia and like go about my business, maybe video or something. It wasn't about being the president, but then I could see what the college could be. So the day that I got the keys, and my first day on the job, which was July 17th, I couldn't see the college like the rest of the world saw the college, because now I knew what the college could be. And so, like today, I was on campus today, and just looking around, our maintenance folks, they were cutting the grass, and they were edging things up, and I was thinking to myself, I still feel the same way I did in July of 2023. I still see the Barber-Scotia that I know is coming, right? And so I know that there are people who can only see the outside, but again, I go back to the word, man. You think about when God selected David, and the prophet looked and said, this guy right here,
that's
this
it.
guy right here. And
You gotta have another son somewhere. You gotta have one more son. Where is?
God reminded us that while man looks on the outward appearance, I look at the heart, right? So as people look at the outward appearance of Barber-Scotia College, and it's not bright and it's not shining and it's not this and that right now, that's not what I see, man. I see an institution that's going to have all the buildings are going to be restored. I see the students walking up and through and all around the campus, laying on the grass, playing Frisbee, having a good time and having that great HBCU experience. I see it plain and simple. And I know that it's possible. And we're going to get there because why? Because that's the vision that God has given me. And I believe it's going to happen no matter what.
That's amazing.
That's good. So you got the campus, you see the tall task. You got the keys. You're doing the work. Fast forward to now. What is your clear vision for Barber-Scotia, like right now? And what does Barber-Scotia Rising mean to you? Right, this resurgence, this rising. What does it mean for you, personally and professionally?
Yeah, I tell you, man. You look at our HBCUs holistically across the spectrum. Our public HBCUs, while they, many of them, they struggle. They don't struggle as much as private HBCUs because it's a public HBCU. You're going to get your state funding. Now, granted, we still fight with racism in this country, Many of our HBCUs that are state funded, many of them went many decades without getting the proper funding that they should have gotten. Over the decades, there are billions of dollars that should have came to our institutions that just didn't come because folks in the legislature said we're going to give X amount of millions to this institution, and we'll just maybe give $1 million or less than $1 million to these institutions. That's just the way the game was played. While there is higher scrutiny on those now, we know that the funding inequities are still there. That's just so we can put a pin on that. But for private HBCUs, man, listen, most of our private HBCUs started from being affiliated from various churches or certain funders. But Barber-Scotia was part of the Presbyterian Church. And then eventually we disaffiliated with the Presbyterian Church. That's another conversation for another day. They did that many years ago, way before I got here. But because of that, you're just out here on your own. You just, you're out here on your own. There is no major denomination that I could go to and say, hey, we're short this. Can we get $150,000, $200,000, and they make it happen? Because we're not a part of the educational system because certain denominations have educational departments and they fund the private institutions that were founded by those denominations. So we don't have that. So we're literally out here on our own.
Man, right? You're out here fighting the good fight, as John Lewis would say.
Right. So I realized through this journey, I was like, well, I have to reimagine what Barber-Scotia can be once we bring it back. Right. Yeah. So it cannot just be what it is, where, you set tuition at $27,000 a year, $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year. And then, have students go and check out a bunch of student loans and no, that can't be our future. What I see is an institution that provides high level education, but truly at an affordable cost. And the only way that you can do that is scale it through volume. And so my belief is that Barber-Scotia in the coming decade will be, if not the largest, one of the largest HBCUs in the country, because my plan is very simple. We will have, 2,000-3,000 students that will be on our campus or commuting to our campus. And I'm gonna have 20,000-30,000 students online. And those students that are online, they will get the same high level education and engagement. But they're not going to be stepping on campus. They're not going to be stressing our infrastructure. They're not going to be, but they're going to pay to come to school though. And if you increase the volume of folks and you stay true to affordability and don't get greedy, you can give decent tuition to individuals who want to finish their degree, who want to start their degree. And I believe that Barber-Scotia has the ability to be that affordable option for students. That's number one. I love to say this, and there are some schools that like to say that, we're elite. We want to be X, Y, and Z. I love to say that I want to be the school that anyone can come to. Plain and simple as that. Whether you are a top performing student that's graduating with a 4.2, 4.5 GPA, or you're a student that just got over at 2.0 and you're just trying to still figure it out and you need that support. I want to be able to make sure that we can do it for everybody. Plain and simple as that. We want to be school for everybody because I think that that's important, right? The other future that I see for Barber-Scotia is that we have a trade school arm of the college, right? Not just providing 4-year degrees, but I believe that we should be able to provide degrees in not degrees, but certificates or training for trade schools. Because why? Because everybody has a degree. Big. Degree. And I want them to be able to see Barber-Scotia as an opportunity and a location for them to come, get your welding license, get your electrical license, get your HVAC license, or come and get change and get your certifications or your certificates in certain areas, because I want to change. I want to become a dental assistant now. I want to be a pharmacy tech, and I want Barber-Scotia to be that institution for all folks for whatever it is that they need. Plain and simple as that. Wow. And that's what we're going to be in the future. I know it sounds big, it sounds broad, and a lot of folks, but it's possible. It is very, very possible. And the areas that we need to focus on as an institution is absolutely making sure that we have folks in the healthcare space, the business space, the IT space, is the areas that I want us to really be strong in the future, because that's critical. We need folks in the C-suites. We need folks in the healthcare space, and information technology, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence. None of that stuff is going nowhere. And so and there's not enough of us being trained on it. It don't matter if all the institutions in America have those programs, it ain't enough people that's enrolled in them to be able to take on the jobs that are coming for the economy of the future. We need to be a part of that. So
I agree. That's good stuff. Let's get to it. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Let's talk about it.
In my chair. The elephant in the room. The people is curious about it. I'm curious about it. I'm sure Courtney is curious about it. All right, so let's get to it. So I got a 2-part question.
Okay.
For the viewing audience, what does having accreditation actually mean? What does that actually mean for the viewing audience that don't know?
Sure.
Like, what does accreditation actually mean? And what is the biggest hurdle that you faced in getting it back for Barber-Scotia College?
And can I add another piece to that? Can you talk just a little bit about what happened? I don't want to go back too far, but how did Barber-Scotia lose its accreditation?
Yeah,
right?
so
just touch on. I know that was before your time. That was prior to you, your administration. You can't,
20 years.
But somebody who just learning about Barber-Scotia, can you just touch on that real quick?
Yeah. So the issue is that we had a night program and a day program, and in our night program there were students allegedly, because we never appealed it. So I'm gonna use the word allegedly. I'm gonna use this good law degree.
There you go.
That students allegedly were being that they were just graduating that did not complete all of their credits.
Okay.
That's what the issue was, right? And so it was reported. They got suspended. We got suspended. Our accreditation got suspended, and the college was not in a position to appeal it, because had they appealed it, I believe we would have won. And so that's how they lost their accreditation. What does it mean to have accreditation? That means that, number one, you're sending a message to the world that you are operating as an institution properly. You're operating as you're following all the policies and procedures of being an institution, and being accredited also allows you to get access to federal financial aid, because you have many schools that are out here that are not accredited. But people are paying directly out of pocket. So to attend Barber-Scotia College today, if we're not providing a scholarship to those students, they have to pay out of pocket, because they can't get access to federal aid yet. That's why being accredited matters, right? Because we know that the majority of the students that we are focused on, they come from backgrounds that need access, and access comes through federal aid. Unless you make school completely free, folks are not, they can't afford to go to college. And so that's where we are right now. And so that's the challenge. That's the challenge. And then when you say what is the biggest challenge and biggest hurdle, as we try to, there are certain standards that we have to meet, right? And so it goes back to my initial statement about not being affiliated with, any denomination. Of course, we're not a state-supported school. So it's about fundraising. And so I, as the president, along with the trustees, we have to get out here and raise money on a regular basis for the institution. And then there's a part of the accreditation journey that says, okay, Barber-Scotia College, whatever your budget is, your annual budget is, you have to have a percentage of that budget put into an account that's your savings account that you can't touch. Unless there's, that's your contingency account, right? So that means I need to have an account that has, $50,000 to $75,000 just sitting there. That's it. We can't touch it. On top of additional dollars that comes in to do the operations of the college, right? Because we still have buildings, we still got electricity, we still got to cut the grass, we still got to pay, we still have, pipes still burst, we still got to get those fixed, there are things that are happening on the campus on a regular basis. And so the revenue still comes in. You still need the revenue to operate the college, right? We have students right now. So, we have an LMS system. Our students got to log on. Well, the LMS system has to be paid for. We got printers, and we got, Zoom, and we have all these different things to operate as a college, so that we show ourselves worthy, to the accrediting body. And so, but the biggest challenge has been raising enough money to put into this account, while having enough money to operate the school, right? And that's why the upcoming concert that we have on May 1st with Bishop Hezekiah Walker, who's coming to bless us, and he's reached out and said, "Hey, I want to be a part of the journey with you," and we're hoping that with strong ticket sales and that the money from that event will give us what we need to put into this account, so that we can submit our application this summer. Because I believe that once we submit this application this summer, we're going to be good to go. Now, there's going to be a few months. It takes a while to submit the application. But to be in a place where we are ready to submit, we are closer today to submitting than we've ever been in a long time.
Wow. Love it.
Proud of that.
Love it. I love it. I love it. On that note right there, and I know you got to get out of here. I know we're running close on time. You have a 7:30. Can you talk about some wins that we have at Barber-Scotia so far, just for the people, some wins, just some, even if they're small wins en route to accreditation? Can you share a few of those real quick?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that hung around the neck of the college before I got there, we were in debt. We owed the city of Concord, well over almost $400,000. Our property tax exemption was under scrutiny by the county of Cabarrus, which would have meant that we would have had to pay over another almost $300,000 in back property taxes. We owed the state of North Carolina back taxes, unemployment taxes from when folks filed unemployment when the school lost its accreditation 20 plus years ago, and we didn't have no money that was in our coffers to be able to support it. So the state had to pay it up, and then we had to pay back the state. So that was another $200,000-$300,000, and then there's the federal government at one point. $5 million that we owe from student financial aid that the students got back then. But then they, said, "Hey, well, I'm not giving this money back. I'm out. We lost accreditation." And so we weren't able to pull that money back from the students. So that ends up being a bill that the college ends up having. So you're talking about almost $3 million in debt that we were in when I got here. Today we don't owe the city of Concord. We don't owe the county of Cabarrus. We don't owe the state of North Carolina. All we have left is the federal government debt, and we're now working with the Department of Education, to restructure that. And we're going to wait to see what they say. Keeping our fingers crossed that maybe they'll forgive it. If they don't forgive it, we'll put a plan in place for repayment or whatever the case may be. But we are finally at the table discussing that. But the fact that we don't have any of those other debts, man, it's a huge win for the college. And that sends a message to the accrediting body that we are getting our physical house in order to be able to operate like a real institution, right? So, and if the Department of Education calls and says, "Hey, Barber-Scotia, you guys are good, we're going to forgive that 1.5 million," well, we'll be completely debt-free as a college. We'll be completely debt-free as a college, right? Another small win, but I say big win, is the fact that when I got here in July 17th, 2023, we didn't have a pipeline of students that were coming or interested in Barber-Scotia College. Last semester we had at the peak of our enrollment 117 students that we enrolled at the institution, right? So we don't have that many any longer, but we still have students that are enrolled, right? And that's important as you go through accreditation, because you need to have enrolled students in order to go. It's like the chicken and the egg, right? You got to have students enrolled before you. And so the mere fact that we have students that are saying, "Hey, we're going on this journey with you. We're going to rock with you." It makes me have to work hard enough so that when this class that's coming up, that's about to be a group of juniors, right? I know we got to work. We got to get it together, because when they become seniors in the fall of 2027, that means in the spring of 2028, they're going to graduate. They're going to graduate within a crazy.
That's right. That's
So
right.
so the pressure's on, man.
That's
The
the
pressure's on.
motivation
We
right there
working, but my
for the
team is
kids.
working hard.
Yeah.
When I got here, I got over 80 folks who volunteer at Barber-Scotia College, professors, professional staff. I mean, it's amazing people who have stepped up and said, "Hey, President Ray, I got your back. Let's make it happen."
I love it.
That's a small, I call it small but big win. So,
I love it. I love it.
man.
That's good. That's so good. And I'm glad you was able to share that with the people, because people didn't know. And those wins, that shows the work, the diligence that's been going on behind the scenes. And it's not pretty. Like, it's boots on the ground, hustling and bustling, calling, leveraging contacts, leveraging social capital, calling, knocking on doors, cold calling, and sometimes just like really just, hey, we're here. We're here. We're trying. It's sink or swim, and y'all are swimming. So we're going to clap it up for that. It's swimming. It's sink or swim, and y'all swimming. And that is so encouraging to hear, because the work has to be done and y'all doing the work. So I know you got to get out of here. So I want to just slide in. We had so many more questions and so much more to unpack. So you got to come back at some point in the future. You got to come back.
We got to do a part two.
You got to do a part two, because it's so much more.
I'm down, brother. I'm down.
Hey, y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? We got it out of him. So he's coming back. We're going to lock him in, But all seriousness, though, we want to get into that event that's coming up May 1st. Yeah. But before we get into the event, we have a segment on the show where we call it the Through the Wire moment, right? The Through the Wire moment is basically a time when you had to push through pain or pressure or difficult circumstances and still showed up and delivered, right? When you still had to push through the wire, push through the pain, the adversity, and still delivered, still showed up, still made it happen, rain, sleet, or snow. What is your version of that, and how has that shaped you into who you are today?
Yeah. So, I think it goes back to my prior statement about, we've put ourselves in our own way in life, right? Again, whether it's personally or professionally. And I am no different than either of you on this screen or the folks who are listening. I have created my own drama in my life, and some of it has come back to bite me but also a lot of it has been character building for what's next, right? First recognizing that, man, I messed up. I did this. This wasn't nobody. This was me. I messed up. And then taking accountability for your actions, and then realizing that if I'm going to press forward, am I going to make a real conscious change, or am I just going to pretend and then wait for the moment to happen again and then fall right into the trap, right? These are being
Talk about it.
Around in a circle. I made a conscious decision. I ain't gonna live like that no more. I just did. Was it easy? No. Do I still have my, my thoughts of things that I shouldn't be wanting to do sometimes? Yeah. And so what I need to do is I lean in and just say, hey, God, I need you at this weak moment in my life. And again, so I told you, man, my journey, this journey with Barber-Scotia has brought me, believe it or not, closer to God, because it's such a faith walk. And then I had to believe in just my own journey of life, right? Not even about Barber-Scotia, just about me, Chris Rey. Like, I had to get closer to the divine in order for me to get over whatever it is that I need to get over.
That's good.
So that pressure point that we have, man, but it's about having a real conversation with yourself. Most
That's
people
right.
need to be honest with themselves. That's why a lot of people talk about other people. That's why they, people, I'm all in everybody else's business, because look in the mirror. People look in the mirror just to make sure they look good and then they leave. People don't sometimes just stop and look in the mirror and look in the mirror, because sometimes you don't like what you see. And what I've done in my life, in my lowest and darkest moments, is that I stopped and I looked in the mirror, just me in the bathroom, looking in the mirror, watching the bags under my eyes from whether I was tired or crying or just, restless, from what I've done. So it wasn't me just looking to make sure I had nothing on my face and then put on my lotion and get out the house. It was me stopping and looking in the mirror.
I love it.
Watching me, looking in my eyes, and asking myself, "What you gonna do?" And
I love it.
I've had the moments, man, and because of that is why I believe that I've had this amazing journey, and I will continue to have this amazing journey because I ain't going back. I ain't going back to that. I'm not.
I love it. I love it.
I know what my source is. I got to continue to tap into it, and just try to be a better version of who I am, man.
I love it. I love it. That's so good. That's so good. I do wanted to just share this and allow you to talk a little bit about it. This is an event that's coming up for Barber-Scotia. You mentioned it earlier in the questions, and I wanted to also add this as well. This is actually the QR code. I don't know if you can see that. This is a QR code. It'll take you directly to registration for the people that are listening, the people that are home for this event. I'll allow you to talk about it, Chris Rey. But if you are interested in this event, it's going to be huge. It's in Charlotte. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm gonna say it out loud. I was gonna say it offline, but my brother's keeper, we're actually going to buy 2 tickets. You know, we're not going to be able to make it, but we're buying tickets anyway. So we just, if you're home and you can't make it, I can't make it. I ain't going to buy tickets anyway. Go ahead and put your name in the hat or do your part. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're home and you're not going to go, that's not an excuse. You still can purchase a ticket, and there's other opportunities to sponsor as well. So, Chris, I'll give you the floor on that real quick. But there's a QR code. If you want to just scan that QR code, and it'll pop right up, and there's the event. You want to talk about it, Chris?
Hey,
I know you got to get out of here.
Hey, Friday, May 1st, Hezekiah Walker is going to be in the house. We're going to have a couple of other local talents. We're getting ready to have a little competition with some of the local choirs to see who's going to sing with Hezekiah Walker. So that's breaking news on here. We're going to have a little competition with a couple of local churches to see who's going to be the choir that's going to sing with Bishop Walker. So again, the money that's going to be raised is going to go towards helping us for accreditation. I just ask the folks, please spread it far and wide. Because this is our moment, man. All the hard work we've finally gotten here. This is our moment. Let's go get it.
Let's get it. And we leave this, Chris. We fully support you, man, and we love you, brother. My Brother's Keeper podcast is we fully support you. This community, we fully support you. We're fully behind you, and we appreciate the work that you put in so far, man. We with you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for loaning your platform. I look forward to us connecting soon again. I will come back on, and I look forward to us chopping it up some more.
Let's ride. Thank you so much. I know you got a 7:30. I hope we didn't make you too late. Thank you so much. We'll be talking soon.
So I'm late now.
All right, bye-bye.
See you.
All right. There we go. Oh, man. Wow, that was good. So we want to leave this up here. Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. So what we'll do is leave this up here for about 30 more seconds for anybody who wants to scan this QR code and help Barber-Scotia on their journey to accreditation. This event is for that.
Just screenshot it. Just screenshot it if you want. If you want to just
have it for screenshot it. You can have it on your phone and you can figure it out. But this is the event. You can actually go to Barber-Scotia's website and this will actually pop up. So if you're looking for it, you can go to Barber-Scotia's college website and this event will pop up and you can register from there. So we wanted to just plug that in. Also, as we wrap it up, we want to go ahead and just give you a sneak peek. You can follow us. Yeah, you can follow us. We on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, so you can follow us. Leave that right there for a second. Go ahead and do that. And then lastly, we wanted to just queue up our next guest speaker that will be here on Sunday, April the 19th at 7 p.m. Mr. Keith Gabriel. Let's clap it up for him. He will be in the building, the virtual building this Sunday. We're excited. He has a special treat, has a a phenomenal story of overcoming adversity and transitioning from sports to corporate. So that's going to be a good one, a different one, but really good nevertheless. So, yep. Let's get out, man.
Yeah,
Let's wrap it
everybody
up.
make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, if you don't mind, go over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel. We got some amazing, great things coming up, man, and through the pipeline, and we appreciate everybody watching, man, and tuning in with us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we are
My brother's keeper, baby.
our brother's keeper. Let's ride.